Good evening. Tonight we're going to continue with Unit 4, Lesson 14. Compare fractions with related denominators. Here are 4 pictures. Picture A does not belong because it shows 3 tapes and 3 equivalent fractions. If you look at picture B, it also doesn't belong because the number lines show 1/2 is equivalent to 3/6. But then there is no equation or statements. We're trying to compare fractions. That's just showing us equivalent fractions. Now look at group C, picture C. That doesn't belong also because it's only picture that shows 1 number line or tape. All the other pictures have 2 or 3 number lines or tapes. If you check out picture D, it doesn't belong because it has a comparison, and that is not equal. So these are all different ways of showing how we could compare fractions and look at fractions and show equivalence fractions. But if you look at picture D, that is the one that we're really going to focus on in this lesson today, because those tape diagrams and number lines really help us paint a picture of what fraction is greater, less than, or equal to. How does knowing 4/8 is equal to 1/2 help when we compare 5/8 and 1/2? Well, it goes back to knowing those benchmarks. The benchmarks of 0, 1/2, and 1. If we know 4/8 is 1/2, we can look at that as our benchmark. So we now know that 5/8 is greater than 1/2 because we used the benchmark of 1/2 to show that. So 5/8 is greater than 1/2. 1/4 is greater than, less than, or equal to 3/8. Now, if you use these tape diagrams, you would see, or the area models, whatever you want to call them, and you could see that 3/8 is larger than 1/4 just by looking and studying at this picture. So we would actually show that 3/8 is greater than 1/4, and we use the picture to help us. 2/3 is greater than, less than, or equal to 9/12. Well, if I look at this very carefully, I'm noticing that the denominators we can really work well with because they have something in common. If I want to get this denominator to match this denominator, what would I have to do? Well, I would have to multiply by 4. And remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So now this becomes 8/12. Aha! Now we can compare them very quickly. Who is greater, 9/12 or 8/12? Well, it is definitely going to be 9/12 because 9/12 is greater than 8/12, and 8/12 equivalent to 2/3. Okay, now 1/2 is greater than, less than, or equal to 7/10. Well, if we take that half, we notice that the bottom here and this denominator, they have a connection. And what can we do to this 2 to make it a 10? Well, we can multiply the top and the bottom by 5. And then we get 5/10. Now we can compare them. 5/10 is greater than or equal or less than 7/10. And obviously 7/10 is greater than 5/10. So there you go. These are wonderful ways to solve how to do a comparing fractions. Next one, 2/5 is greater than, less than, or equal to 3/10. Well, if I place 3/10 on our number line, and it's right about there, that's 3/10. Okay, now 2/5, I can get rid of this denominator and make it like this one because they have a connection. And what they have is you do 2/5 and you multiply the top and the bottom by 4. Excuse me, not 4. By 2, because you want to have that same denominator to compare it, and it becomes 4/10. So 4/10 is just above that. So 2/5 and 3/10, they're pretty close. And so obviously 2/5 is larger than 3/10, but very close. 2/5, and what helped us is knowing that 2/5 is equivalent to 4/10. Knowing those equivalent fractions will help us a lot with comparing them. Next one, 1/3 is greater than, less than, or equal to 4/6. Well, my number line here is already cut up into 6. So this is 4/6 right here. And I'm noticing the denominator, a 3 and a 6. And they have something in common there, that I can multiply that 1/3 to get to the same denominator by 2. And it becomes 2/6. So where's 2/6 on the number line? Right here. So 2/6 is definitely less than 4/6. So who's greater? 4/6 is greater than 2/6. Okay, next one. 2/6 is greater than, less than, or equal to 3/12. Well, here's our number line, and it's cut up into 12ths, and I'm going to put 3/12 right here. I'm noticing my denominators have something in common, and I want to take the 6 and make it into 12ths. So take 2/6, and what do I have to do to the top and the bottom? I have to multiply it by 2. And now I get 4/12. Well, where is 4/12 on this number line? Right, a little bit after 3/12. So 2/6 is bigger than 3/12. Not by much, very close again, but it is bigger than 3/12. Keep breathing. You've got this. Comparing fractions can be a little tricky, so I don't want to see these faces like this cat tomorrow. Give the next two problems a try. Greater than, less than, or equal to 5/9, 2/3. 5/6, greater than, less than, or equal to 2/3. Sometimes you have to tell yourself, I'm a shark, and attack the day. You guys are going to get good at this with lots of practice. So let's attack these problems tomorrow and feel like that powerful shark like this cute little kitten is. Have a great night.